Well, after a nice long hard day, it's good to finally sit down and play one of my favorite Sonic games on Switch. Well, I guess there's no better time to actually go back and play the game on the Wii. I mean, it was the original console it was for. Well, that was mediocre. Maybe the Switch version of the game is technically better. How was that worse? Sonic the Hedgehog! The gaming icon that just can't f***ing do ports correctly. The Sonic Adventure games, Sonic on GBA, the Sonic 4 PC ports just look awful now, and the most recent example is Sonic Colors Ultimate. Now, there was an obvious problem with the ports that have been since fixed, but that doesn't mean that the game has other issues that, at the time of me writing this, haven't been fixed yet. It's the Sega specialty, rushing out a game for the sake of rushing out a game. We've seen this time and time again, and when they rush out things, it sucks. But it only makes it more apparent when the games that aren't rushed are regarded as some of the best within the series. But this is, of course, to hold us over for that new Sonic game coming out in 2022, and man, how I love what little info we got on it. But the idea of Sonic Colors in HD is really cool. Of course, the game was fine on the Wii, so bringing it back and adding new stuff is great. I just wish that what they added didn't suck. But it's not even what they added, it's what they changed too. It really makes you think about the validity of the game's title when you go and dissect it. Let's start with a big problem that I have with this game. Now, graphics don't make a game good or bad, but when they are distracting, they can hinder from the experience. This game looks ugly on newer consoles, especially the Switch version. The bloom is so bad, it makes Sonic feel so out of place from the setting he is placed in. But oddly enough, the levels themselves don't look too bad, but when you compare them to the Wii version, yeah, the Wii might be in a lower resolution, but it just feels more natural, especially when viewed on a CRT. The cutscenes, too, have just been shat on. They used a crappy AI upscaler to make them 1080p. Now, this would be fine, seeing as the cutscenes were pre-rendered. Except the animation data for these animations were in the game files, so there is no excuse as to why they could have redone them in Engine. But maybe they didn't want to recreate all the cutscenes with the new models that they added within the game, seeing as we do have a new Sonic model that is more lifeless than me in middle school. Look at him. He watches children die in his free time. He looks so numb. I don't know why they changed the physical appearance of Sonic, but they didn't just fuck that up because they got the gameplay messed up as well. Now, I gotta admit, the physics in the original Sonic Colors wasn't all too great, but at least it was consistent. There are times in Sonic Colors Ultimate where Sonic will just stick to the walls for wall jumps. Not only that, but the wall jumps are so powerful in this game. Sonic just fucking shoots himself to San Francisco and back, making it harder to land. Meanwhile, in the original, you could more easily land on platforms after a wall jump. Now, I hear you say, Tom, why did you talk about the physics in a control category? And to you, I say, I didn't know where else to put it, but the control in the game is very strange. Sonic Colors was made for the Wiimote and Nunchuck. Yeah, you can use other controller options like the classic controller or even the GameCube controller, but the game doesn't utilize the potential of these controllers. Sidestepping is still mapped to the stick, and they had to limit drifting to specific moments in the games where you can't normally boost. So with hopes of a remaster, you would think they would fix this. Needless to say, Sega pulled a Sega and didn't do that. I understand not drifting at any time because the game wasn't designed for that, but sidestepping is so awkward on the stick. The games before and after it mapped the sidestepping to these bumpers, and since it's a more common option for controlling these sections, you would think they would add it to Sonic Colors Ultimate. But no, inconsistency is the only consistent thing in the Sonic series now. But I'm a man who buys a remaster for new editions, and well, this game does have that. So let's talk about it. There's somehow a lot added to the game, but almost none of it has any substance to really warrant why they're there. They added a whole new Wisp to the game, but it's almost not needed entirely. The Ghost Wisp, but instead of adding flow to the game or used to solve puzzles, it's just used to access new areas you couldn't get to before. Since it's not the fastest way of moving around, I tend not to use this Wisp because Sonic Colors has so many routes to take per level. Why would I take this one? If I hate myself enough, I could use it, but even then, it's a harmless addition. But was it needed? Did it enhance my gaming experience? Well, in the words of Gandhi, fuck no!
Wait, did Gandhi actually say that?
At one point in his life. Maybe. Also, why are you here, and why are you in black and white?
Just felt like it, and I sworn off all colors because of this game.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that plays out. somewhere else that isn't here. If you collect enough rings in each world, you'll be able to unlock a rival rush race against Metal Sonic, complete with a mobile game menu and all. It's not that interesting. The level design does not work for these races at all. There are a ton of places where you need to slow down, and Metal Sonic will often gain the lead in levels where there are a ton of automation to go through. Also, the game crashed when I was doing the third race. I couldn't tell you why. Gotta love how the game, even after patches, still can't run on the Switch. Meanwhile, the game it remastered was on another Nintendo console. I love irony. There's now this extras menu where you can customize Sonic a bit, from his shoes to his gloves to even the boost. This is so unneeded. Listen, I love customization in any game, but it's so painful navigating the menus because it has to load each option whenever you move to the next screen. And the loading is so painfully slow. And while I guess it's cool to customize Sonic, it also does nothing in terms of the gameplay. Why not have it like Generations did and offer power-ups in a shop instead of this? You unlock these options by collecting park tokens, and they're so easy to get. If you don't get them just by playing the game normally, you win 50 of them for every rival rush you win. And that's everything added to the game aside from achievements, which were added to a game I feel like never needed it. I swear, I thought the age of broken Sonic games would have finally ended, but this is the shining example that Sega hasn't changed one bit since Sonic 06. This port did not need to happen. It's neat, but with it being this bad, this carelessly thrown together and put out onto the market makes it way worse than if they just didn't release it. The game is so unpolished, and it's funny because the Wii version was pretty much solid. It's a working game that doesn't crash, and there was enough substance to not warrant the extra features they even added. However, the problems that have to do with the actual game itself can't really be ignored either. I think Sonic Colors is a really mediocre title in the boost formula of games, but even then, it's still fun when it works. Somehow, Sonic Colors Ultimate makes what used to be a decent game into what's ultimately an unenjoyable one. Only Sega can pull that kind of crap off. I mean, really. There's so much more the game could have improved on, but that's something that the modders of the PC port will definitely do. It shouldn't be that way though. Sega shouldn't release a game where modders go in and fix it for them. For a game that turns 10 years this year, it's amazing on how much they just spat on it. But, I mean, here I am 4 years later talking about the same blue Hedgehog. Sonic has changed a lot, for better and for worse, but has mostly stayed the same since Colors. While I can go into most of the negatives, I'd rather celebrate it since if it weren't for this inconsistency, I wouldn't have started something that I hold dear to my heart. And you know what? There's an overly auto-tuned techno song that sums up these past 4 years quite nicely.
Finally, we can relate. Now we're side by side, this is vain. I knew all along we'd find some way to communicate.